Go ahead. What were you saying? Did you start it?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. What were you saying now?
So I bought some farm-fed protein. It's called farm-fed from Axe and Sledge.
Would
Because
Go ahead.
you want me to get into that?
Yeah. So you were just explaining to me the different kinds of like whey protein or whatever.
Yeah. So I noticed like every protein I take, I like get super bloated and like really gassy after, and like don't like I'll get out of the gym and be like really hungry. I'll be like, well, I need my protein. Take protein, and then I'm so bloated after that I don't want to eat. And I'm like, well, like, what can I do about it? Like, I still need like, I feel like I still need to take protein because I don't eat like a lot of high protein meals.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, right after a workout, getting that like amino acids and protein in you right away is beneficial. So then I was looking on Axe and Sledge's website, and Axe and Sledge is supposed to have like the highest end supplements
I think
out
they
there.
actually just there was like a little competition on this like a supplement page or whatever, and it was like it was how they do March Madness or whatever, like,
Yeah.
and then it was like a March Madness bracket, but of all the different supplement companies, and I'm pretty sure they won by a pretty big margin.
Yeah, I know like on the podcast, the HWMF podcast, for people that don't know. It's the HWMF podcast, and it's with Seth Froese and Bob, I don't know how you say his last name, Doutrich,
Something like that.
but they're owners of this Axe and Sledge supplement company. And so on the podcast, they talk about how like they pride themselves on using like the highest end ingredients and like having like the best quality supplements. So I got their pre-workout, and I noticed like almost all pre-workouts make me like itchy, and like I get a big crash from it. So then I was reading on their website like that this isn't like their supplement, like their pre-workout isn't supposed to give you that crash. Like it's supposed to just naturally open blood vessels and just give you that like mental clarity to want to keep pushing
Was that
yourself.
ignition switch
Yeah,
or
ignition
dude?
switch.
Their hydraulic, that's like my go-to. It's a non-stimulant, so stimulant-free. Dude, it's just focused on the pump and
Yeah.
like that focus too, but like there's like no stimulants in it, yet you still get. I don't know. It's
Yes.
I would suggest that too if anyone like for a pump product. That's awesome. Good blood flow.
Yeah, because I was reading about that too. I'm like, how do you get a pre-workout without stimulants?
Yeah.
And they said like basically it just gives you things to like open blood vessels and like get good blood flow, and then that naturally will like
Like I don't have
give
very
you
good.
clarity.
I don't have very good like. Yeah, more blood flow. Like more nutrients flowing. Like which leads to growth and clarity, which would be better workout, like an intense focus. I don't usually have like good blood flow, like all the time. My hands and feet, like they're always cold, and like I'm not very vascular. But I noticed when I take that on the days like when I don't, like when I do and don't, it is definitely noticeable just in like my veins, like in my arms. It's which I never like get too vascular, but then when I take that, like I definitely noticeable. But I'm just gonna go back to like what the podcast is. What he's talking about is HWMF, which stands for Hardworking Motherfuckers. Their description: the podcast for the hardworking motherfuckers of the world. Raw, real, and intense. Nothing is off limits. You will be motivated, inspired, and you will laugh your ass off. I think that's a pretty good description. Like they're just, I mean, there will be like a little bit of arrogance to Seth, but once you kind of get past that and like you learn, like you figure out where he's coming from and like the good that he means, then you kind of get into the podcast a little bit.
Yeah.
But
sometimes he gets
it
where it
becomes
feels more arrogant, but I know it comes from like a good place
Yeah.
where he always kind of rides that line of
Yeah.
like extremely confident or is he arrogant?
Yep.
And he kind of rides that line for me, but
But you can tell like he literally
his
just wants the best from everybody and like
yeah,
wants like good shit for like everyone. And then Bob's Bob's good shit too.
yeah,
Like you gotta check out that podcast if you. I mean, if you enjoy any of these episodes, this is kind of like where we've been wanting to do this, but after these two clowns came out and did it, and now they're just killing it. Like it kind of gives us the drive to like keep
yeah,
on doing these because one, it's fun, and like two, to offer like any sort of uplifting or good news or motivation to you guys is kind of what we're striving for. Anyways, back to your. Let's kind of dig into some supplements today, I guess.
yeah.
I'd never used to take a pre-workout until I started taking hydraulic.
Yeah,
I mean, I once in a while would take a pre-workout, like very rarely. Like if Corey had some at school, like I'd take a scoop, or like I was never like fully consistent on taking one. But I could say like I probably take hydraulic before every workout now. And
yeah.
I love it.
Well, cause I used to work out in my cousin's basement every day, and I would take just like the cheapest pre-workout you could find at Walmart. And I used to get so tingly, dude. I used to have to take my shoes off while we were working out and itch my feet on like
Really?
steps because they were so tingly. Like my face would tingle, like it would feel like I would be like a meth head where I'm like scratching at my body because this pre-workout made me so itchy. And it
Beta,
would
I think it's beta alanine is what. So like a lot of like cheaper supplements will just add a shit ton of that in there to like to give you that feeling
yeah,
where like you feel like you're like get it because a lot of people look for that like itch, but then that doesn't mean like you're getting good blood flow and like the
yeah.
nutrients to the muscle. Like go anyways, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you.
No. Yeah, so then like that was super annoying. Like always being that itchy and then you'd crash. Like there'd be so much caffeine in it that you just for a couple hours you'd crash. So then I'm like obviously listening to the podcast, I'm like, well, I'd like to support them guys, so I'll buy a pre-workout from them. And then I notice like there's not itchiness, there's no tingliness, there's no crash. Like I work out right after work. So like 240 I'm already like had taken pre-workout and by like so if I take it at 240 in the afternoon, I bet by 7 o'clock I'm still like mentally clear. Like I can still like feel that through my body almost. It's kind of weird. Like there's no crash, but like it keeps me like
Dude, so I mean, some people will agree with this, some people will argue against it, but I think that it's becoming like when they talk about becoming the new normal in supplements, where in the like late '90s, early 2000s, I know it was huge when like supplements was becoming like a thing, becoming big. There are so many companies that would just get the cheapest ingredients and
yeah,
pull them together and just start marketing this product. Like protein, you can order that by the semi,
mhm,
put it into tubs, make a nice label, and just start selling it. No clue what's in it for fillers. Like if is it 100% whey protein? Like they label it as that. Like there's no saying it is. Same with like pre-workouts. They can put the scoop can be the size of a freaking cup. Like and only have one or two active ingredients in it that's going to do anything for you. But so what I'm kind of getting at is like none of that is regulated by the FDA.
yeah,
So people just like me and you right now could just go down to Knaus, get their protein, start putting it into nice containers, and just start selling it, marketing it that way as our own brand or whatever. Like what Axe and Sledge is trying to do is they're taking like patent ingredients that are like scientifically studied and backed like with like research, putting them into their supplements, so their supplements cost a little bit more than a lot of other supplements, and then that's how they're creating their products. They're building it off of patent ingredients versus just finding like ingredients that are supposed to be good and then just adding fillers or whatever to make it cheap and then just selling it. They're really focused on actually giving you a good product, and what you're seeing now is other companies are starting to do that. So like just in some of their products there's more than 5 patent ingredients. Like you don't see that.
Yeah.
And now like there's a reason they won number 1 in supplement company right now. And like now you're starting to see people follow, and it's because they're doing it right and they're doing good at it.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna. Well, what they're doing is they're raising the bar.
yeah, they are. Seth talks about that, and like I did not. I mean, it's been a year at least since I started listening to him,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, they're just trying to sell their product, like they don't talk about it. I mean,
They talk.
some podcasts they talk about it a ton, like
Yeah.
when they're on that shit, like they're just like, yeah, like you got to do this, like they'll talk about it, but it's not like I didn't feel like they were like, oh, you have to take it. It was more like, hey, if you're looking for this, like we have this type thing.
Yeah.
And then over a year, I was like, no, like I'm not that big into it. And then I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I mean, I'm not disappointed. Like,
Yeah.
I've bought more than once now from them, and I'm gonna keep doing it too. Like I'm seeing results, and I feel the results. So.
Yeah. Back to that protein though.
Yep.
So, like I said, it would bloat me, and I tried. I don't know. I tried GNC products. I tried like Walmart stuff. I probably tried. I don't know. 10 different things of protein probably. Cause then like my cousin would buy like he had stuff with like some I forget all this different stuff he'd buy online and he wouldn't like it and he'd give it to me like
Sure.
because it was always the same thing like I get bloated and really gassy from it.
Yeah.
So then this it's called Farm Fed on Axe and Sledge, and in ingredient breakdown it says Farm Fed only uses whey protein isolate, WPI, is because it's at least 90% protein, whereas whey protein concentrate, WPC, contains anywhere from 30 to 80% protein.
It's
In
a
other
wide
words,
range.
yeah, WPI is the purest form of protein in the market. Furthermore, WPI is extremely low in lactose, a milk sugar that can cause gastrointestinal issues, fat, carbohydrates, and calories, whereas WPC contains much higher amounts of fat, sugar, carbs, and calories. Since WPC is cheaper than WPI, the majority of protein powders contain that as opposed to WPI. Essentially, it's a clever way other brands use to cut costs, but that also go against everything Axe and Sledge believes in. So I'm like, well, that's exactly what I've been looking for in a
Yeah.
protein. So even if,
That's literally what we were just talking about too, like how companies can just use the cheapest
yeah,
shit. Like, that's what.
so even if you're gonna pay more, it's definitely worth it. I think if it,
Well, that's what's nice too is like it is super annoying. I've had bad ones too where it's just like you're always bloated, dude. I remember that in high school, Adam used to take this certain protein from GNC. I think it was GNC's brand, and he was trying to gain weight and stuff for football and all that.
yeah,
He would drop ass so bad
yeah, dude.
all day long in class. I'm pretty sure he got sent to the office or a detention for farting in class. He had to get a doctor's note, dude.
And it's coming from, yeah, dude.
He literally got a doctor's note to just drop ass. Yeah, and that's what it's from, like having a low quality protein, and then he gets digestive issues just from, like, and I think he was taking like multiple servings of it a day because he's trying to gain weight, so. It was I remember the one teacher just freaking out, or I'm pretty sure he got a doctor's excuse to just keep dropping in class.
Well, that's the thing with
He's
protein.
like, he's literally like, I can't do anything about it. Like, yelling at her.
The thing with protein too is once your body has like maxed out its usage of protein in the day, all you do is shit it out. Like you don't like you
Not being able to digest it fast
yeah.
enough. Yeah.
So you if you like
And there's your byproduct
if you
right
have
there.
like like a suggested amount,
It's probably hotter than shit, ain't
yeah. If they give you that like suggested amount of protein you should have in a day, but like really if you start slamming protein supplement, you're just gonna it's not doing you
it?
any
It's just
good.
like taking 10,000% of vitamin B. Like,
Yeah.
your body will only absorb what it needs, and after that, you just piss it out.
Yep.
It will maximize as much as it can, but after that, you just piss it out. So, I mean, there's a reason, like, there's suggested limits on things.
Right.
Another thing that I like about like hydraulic, I want to try their seventh gear, which is their other that's their extreme pre workout. I take ignition switch now.
Yeah, that's what I have as ignition
It's
switch.
good, like good. We can, well, actually, when we go to the gym in a little bit, I'm probably gonna take some of that. I haven't been able to work out in a couple days, which I'll tell you about, which I haven't told you yet.
Did you fall off the
You
wagon?
just wait. So anyways, I like they got a ton of different flavors. Like, I haven't even tried all these, but like strawberry lemonade, swamp peas, deadlifts, and gummy bears. That's my favorite so far. Shark bite, unicorn blood, hard working motherfucker, scorpion venom, lemon lime. Didn't know they had that. Gonna try that. Like, there's just, I don't know. They got all different types of flavors, which I'm just gonna start running through all of them just because I like it. Yeah, you want to get into that conversation?
What?
So I didn't even tell you how bad. Like, when I told you I couldn't walk, like, I messed my back up on Monday. It wasn't even doing anything wild. So my back's been hurting. Well, obviously for years I've been dealing with it, but the last couple weeks, like right before vacation, it was like really agitating me. And then on the plane, it was like it was hurting so bad that I was literally sweating, like, because it just hurt. Well, then all of vacation, like, it was just bugging the shit out of me. And then I got home, and then like a couple days later, like, it was getting like it was almost like there was pressure building up in my hips and my nuts. So I had to go to the doctor and like ask him like what the hell's going on, because it literally felt like there was just like a balloon inside like my like waist area, and it was just like pressing out on my lower back, my hips, and my nuts. So he gave me like some anti-inflammatories and muscle relaxers, like we just got done talking about before, and like a little bit of relief, nothing substantial. So then I started stretching and like taking my stretching a little bit more serious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe that would have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. This last Monday here, I was my back was like normal, sore, just like annoying sore, and I was benching, and I started cramping up in the like my lower back was cramping in the middle of the set, but I finished the set, and I stood up, and I was just like, uh-oh, like, I felt this before, like, I know what's gonna happen. And it was one other time in college when I was deadlifting, I could literally feel like I could feel it shift. Like, when I started pulling, I could feel my hips like shift, and then I felt that like shooting pain, and I'm like, uh-oh, like, it's gonna all get inflamed. I just strained it, like, it's gonna get super tight. Like, I'm not gonna be able to. Sure enough, like, I went to roll out to try to like break it up quick. Nope. I tried standing up, dude. I'm talking like my steps were probably 6 inches. Like, I was dragging my feet because it hurt so bad to walk, and like I couldn't stand up. So I was like hunched over, couldn't get my like chest up vertical, like bipedal, you know? So then I'm like, fuck, like, I'm done. Like, literally 10 minutes into my workout, like, I gotta go home and like get heat on this thing. So I go home, get heat on it. Um, I took like some ibuprofen, like my muscle relaxer. Tried to just. I woke, dude. I like one, couldn't get into bed, like because I like once I was stuck in that position. Like if I stood up, that was it. Like that was my position of like hunched over. I tried to lay down, dude. It probably took me 5 minutes to get into the bed because I didn't know how the fuck to lay down. Because like I couldn't just sit, you know. Like
Yeah.
if I was trying to sit, that would just, dude, the strain. I'm talking like I probably haven't cried from pain like in a long time, but like I felt like if it got any worse, like I was just like, dude, I was like shaking because I'm just like. So, anyways, I finally get into bed and I'm like, I got heat on it, like I'm laying there. Well, then I woke up in the middle of the night, dude. I don't know if the muscle relaxers, the painkillers wore off. Oh, broke out in a sweat because it just freaking hurt. So I think I texted my superintendent like I gotta go to the doctor and I can't freaking. There's no way I can come in. Like I literally can't stand up. So then I missed 3 days of work because I
This week?
for 3 days I literally laid
It was
like
this week?
yeah like I yesterday was the first day that I was able to like fully like crouch, stand up, turn. Other than that, like I like when I like the day before that Thursday, like still tight, like I could walk and shit. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no way, dude. Like I was lucky if I got out of bed 5 times. Finally Wednesday, I'm like I have to go to the gym and walk on the treadmill at a super slow pace or something to get it moving to get like blood in there because like
Yeah.
laying here isn't gonna help it. Like I gave it a time to rest and like, but it needs movement. Like it needed blood flow. Like that's a tough spot to get blood flow to. So I'm like I have to walk. Like so I went to the treadmill. Literally had to set it at point 0.5 and like grandpa walk.
Yeah.
And like I just kept doing that until I was finally able to go to 1. So for like 40 minutes, I just did that, and then I went and tried to roll out, and like once I got on the ground, it was a bitch to stand back up, dude. Like I had to like roll myself, and like
Oof.
it was stupid. And
Sounds horrible.
yeah, it's so I'm starting over. So as of yesterday, I'm back on. This is my day 2.
Damn.
I know. I didn't want to tell you before because I'm like I don't want him to like. I don't know if I want you to like feel like it's like not that you'd think it's okay that to start over. Like I just
Oh,
don't want
no.
I don't want anybody to think like if this happens it's okay because like I was pissed. Like I the first day I'm like shit. Like I'm not gonna be able to like I was actually really mad that was gonna happen. But that's why after like the one day Tuesday I didn't do anything and like Wednesday I'm like I gotta try to like get back into it. But I also knew that I needed it to rest. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I would be back in the same situation in who knows another day or a couple weeks or whatever. So yeah, now I gotta go in Monday and make sure like I didn't like blow my disc up again or something like that. And hopefully, like I still feel it, like the like throbbing, swelling like back there,
Yeah.
but as far as like range of motion and shit goes, I can at least move, which is good because now I'm back on day 2. So
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, the whole point of 75 hard is no compromises, no matter what. So
yeah,
you do have to start over, but it's not like you have to start over because you bitched out.
yeah, it wasn't so much like a mental thing or a weakness thing where I was like, oh, I don't want to do it today. Like
Yeah.
it was like a physical thing where I'm like, and Anna's just laughing at me because she's like, you got to start over.
Yeah.
Like in a way, I was okay.
I mean, in
I was
retrospect, you probably could have, like, laying in bed, done, like, some sort of
yeah,
arm,
yeah,
something. Like,
yeah. For
there's
45, I
always
know,
something you could have done.
I know. I was thinking that too. I'm like, this isn't. It's literally is an excuse because I physically could have done. I could have figured out a way to beat it.
But then again, you're talking about. Well, I don't think you talked about, like, how you your discs are fucked up in your back. Like that's why your back is fucked up.
Yeah.
So now you're like, it's
Well, that's what
probably
I didn't know. I didn't know either. I'm like, did I freaking like, do I want to even fuck around trying
yeah.
to do something? Because I don't. That's why I'm like, I need to give it like these 3 days to see if it will subside.
Mhm.
Because if there is a sign of that, then I know like it's not something terribly extreme. But if it stayed like at day one for the next couple days up to like right now, or like even 2 or 3 days in a row, yeah, no way. Then I would have had to go in right away. Like I would have went to the ER. I was, dude, I was so close because I've had to go in before, like, and literally get like the IV and stuff to settle things down, and I was like, it was getting there, but I didn't. Yeah, I'm okay that I'm starting over because it's not. It wasn't so much like a mental laziness
Mhm.
that I had to start over. Like I don't want to walk today. I don't want to go do this. Like it wasn't that I didn't want to do something, and I just was like, oh, I was okay with being lazy in that moment. It was more like I literally physically couldn't do it. So I tried to do all the other stuff, like still doing the water, the reading, visualizing. Like I did all that still. I just couldn't do the workout.
Yeah.
So I mean, I didn't use it as an excuse to say like on Monday I'll start. Like I could wait till Monday now because I already messed up, right? I could wait till Monday rolls around and start then. But it was more of no, like I'm able, that's it. Like back on the horse. Yeah, so sorry buddy. Now I'm trailing.
Yeah. It's all right.
As long as you get her good.
I'm on day. Monday will be 21 days, so today's day 19, right?
Dang. Third of the way.
Yep. And in Andy's book, one of the chapters breaks down like week by week what you'll experience, and he said like I'm like prime time of people that
Drop.
just drop it. But he said once you get like the 21 to 30 whatever
that
days, like
hump.
once you break that, then you're once you can start like recognizing the benefits of like
Yeah.
of it. And I know like last podcast you're like you asked me what are some of the benefits I found, and I didn't really have an answer because it
Yeah.
was so fresh. But now that I'm like recognizing the benefits of doing this, like I think I'm already over that. I mean, there's days like
Dude, I can tell like when we were just walking this morning and talking, like there's already a noticeable difference just in like your mentality on it. Because
think so.
at first you were pretty nervous about it,
Oh yeah, I was
but
terrified.
now you're like balls deep in it. You're like,
Yeah.
this is why I'm doing it, and like when you have a why behind it. So like for those of you that are like questioning why you would do this, or like if you don't have a reason why to do it, then I won't even like.
Well, I didn't have a reason to start, but I didn't have a reason not to start either.
Yeah. So
And then you're like, well, that's exactly why you
yeah,
should start.
that is your reason though. You know, like that was your why. That I think that's why you're like. Actually, I know that's why you kind of like conceptualized it, like looked at it all, and realized that that was your why. Like you were just idly going by with things and like being passive with it,
Yeah.
and then you're like, okay, like if I do this, that that gives you that drive, the reason behind like doing all these things. And I mean that is your why, and I think that's a pretty strong why actually. But that's kind of what I was getting at is if you don't have a why, you feeling like you shouldn't do this because of ABC whatever, like right there is a why. Like that excuse is a why that you should do it. But kind of if you have an actual like driving force why too, that like you should be doing all these things, that's what's going to get you through the 75 days is you reflecting back on that and understanding exactly why you're doing it. And like you said, when you get to a certain point, your why might change, but like at day 21 or whatever, your why could change or become that much more clear as to exactly why you're doing it.
Mhm.
Hope that makes sense.
Yeah. And really, like, I'm not sore anymore. Like, I'm sore, like, obviously from lifting hard, like, but not like You know, like the first time you start doing bicep work again, like you
Yeah.
right in the crotch, like you can't even
Yeah.
lower your arms.
Speaking of that, we're gonna do arms after this too.
Yeah, I got back and bis today.
I'm doing full blown arms.
All right, I did tries yesterday.
Yeah, that was a thing too. Like the first week, you're like, dude, I did arms this day, and then my arms hurt. So the next day I had to do chest. Well, then my chest hurt. And
Yep.
like, so then I tried doing legs. Well, now then I gotta walk, and my legs are sore for the
Yeah.
whole week. And so I'm like, I'll do abs today.
I did a
So-
45-minute ab workout, dude.
and then,
You know how
dude,
bad of an idea that was?
dude, there's workouts on like YouTube, 8-minute abs or whatever. Like, if I did one of those videos, my abs are sore for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
45 minutes straight
Dude,
out.
At
Oof.
work, somebody said a joke, and I had to make myself not laugh. I had to think of things to not laugh because my abs hurt so bad. Like, it hurt to go, like, I didn't want to have to do that. Yeah, dude, like,
Coughing. Oh.
I literally put my feet under the couch, and I did, like, 10 minutes of sit-ups. And that one Goggins workout, he does where, like, 10 minutes of sit-ups at the end, so I skipped to that part, and where all you hear is him going up, 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 and then, like, he'd, like, throw something in there. Thought I was fucking kidding, huh? Up. Who's gonna carry the boats? And, like, he's getting in his own head. So then, like, that kept driving me, and I kept, like, once he was done, like, because he does it, like, 10 minutes of jumping jacks, 10 minutes of lunges, 10
Yeah.
minutes of sit-ups. So I just, like, kept replaying that sit-up portion. So then, like, I just hear it up for
Oh,
fucking
dude.
45 minutes. I did some, like, crunchies.
You're
and,
probably sitting at work like up,
Yep.
up.
And, like, the jumping jacks, he's like, 1, 2, 3. And then, like, the crowd, like, he's doing, like, a crowd is, like, working out with him.
Yeah.
Like, that's the video. And then, like, he'll go, like, 1, 2, 3. And then they do 1, 1, 2, 3, 2. Like, and you're supposed to, like, the 1 is the up of the jumping jack, 2's down,
Yeah.
3's up, 4, and then, like, that's how you count it.
Yeah.
And, like, it's fucking fast.
For 45 minutes, isn't he?
Yeah. So,
There's
like,
one-
there's the 45-minute one, that it's 10 minutes of jumping jacks.
Yep.
Starts. And it's fast. Like, you're burning, dude. Like, it's horrible. Then he gives you a 30-second break. Get some water. Thought I was fucking playing, huh? I only do 1-minute videos, huh? Merry
Dude.
fucking Christmas.
Dude, the fun, okay. You ever listen to Joe Rogan talk about David? Like,
Yeah.
Then, like, nobody, like, even says these things about him, and then he'll just be like, oh, you thought I was kidding. And he gets all mad, and he's like, yeah, nobody said that. Like, nobody's even talking to him, and he'll just be like, oh, 1 minute, that's it, huh? And, like, where are you
You
getting
only
this?
do 1-minute videos, huh? Yeah, he gives you a 30-second break. Then, right back into it. You do a 10 count of jumping jacks. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2. So it's actually, what, 100 jump? No. 10 count would be 40 jumping jacks. Drop down 10 push-ups. Right back up. And you got to follow David's
Yeah.
count. Like, and he's, like, booking it. Like, he's got, like, something to prove. Like, you're not going to keep up with me, motherfucker. It's his
Yeah.
mentality.
Like he's in buds all over.
Yeah. So you do that for 10 more minutes of 40 jumping jacks, 10 push-ups, 40 jumping jacks, no breaks, 10 minutes. Then he gives you like a minute break.
I'm fucking tired thinking about it.
Then you just do nothing but lunges, and you got to keep his pace, which is literally like
How long?
10 minutes. of
lunges?
Lunges. And his pace is literally like down, 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 and then that's when like
Like jumping lunges.
once you start getting into the lunges is when he really starts like yelling, and like you can tell like he's pushing himself.
Yeah.
So then all of that, like he's going into that like
His
mindset
mode.
of like these motherfuckers are gonna see what I'm about. Like, so then he gives you like another minute break, and then it's 10 minutes of sit-ups. And follow my count, motherfuckers. Up, up, up. And his are supposed to be like a non-assisted, so you don't put your feet, nothing holding your feet down. And then he'll like get up. Them fucking arms better not be around your chest. Like screaming, like now I'm like, my arms are like helping pull myself up,
Yeah.
and he's like screaming that they're supposed to be behind my
Dude, were
head.
your hip flexors sore the next day?
I could barely walk, dude.
Yeah. Dude, that many sit-ups, my hip flexors would be fried.
And then after all them lunges, all them jumping jacks,
I might have to start doing those just to put myself through a little bit of torture.
dude, it's torture. It's horrible.
Yeah, 'cause like my cardio is not that bad. Like when I hit the bag, those are good days. Like I like doing that. But
And you're using like every muscle in your body. Because you think like
yeah, you got to be dude, the calories, frying
Yeah.
the calories. That's
upper
also
body,
would be
you
nice.
think like doing push-ups is easy, but when you're dead already
yeah,
from
and you
doing
just,
all them
all
jumping
your jumping
jacks.
jacks from your and your shoulders
Mhm.
getting killed. Ooh.
Cuz the first week, so knowing going into 75 hard, I was doing a lot of like that workout, and then he's got a push-up workout to like try to, I thought I could like beat the soreness of in 75 hard if I can get all that soreness out of the way and used to working out again
Yeah.
before I start 75 hard.
Yeah.
So I tried that. That didn't work. But
Do you like that feeling though now? It's kind of like satisfying.
Yeah.
Like a mild soreness, not where
Mhm.
like not like a where legs where you can't move your legs or sit down, but like a mild soreness.
Yeah, I
It
like
kind of
that.
like tells you like, all right, like one, like you did something. Two, like the mental edge, I guess. Like I don't know,
He does a push-up video I really like too.
an
And
hour.
it's an hour, but
Is it
I do
really?
it, so he does it where
Oh my gosh, an
you do
hour.
17 push-ups every minute on the minute. So every time the minute starts, you have a minute to do 17 push-ups. So the faster you can do them, the more rest you have.
That's insane though.
So he does it where after 20 minutes, he goes down to 15 push-ups or something. But I do it where I just do 17
The whole time.
until as long as I can until I'm literally can't go anymore, or I can't get the 17 in a minute. And I've made it. I couldn't, the first day of 75 hard, I did that. And I hit 20 minutes and I couldn't do 21 minutes. And the last time I tried it, I did 35 minutes.
That's a lot. That's a
That was
huge
a lot.
improvement.
That was really hard.
Holy. You think there's a mental thing to that too, though?
Probably, yeah.
I feel like a 15-minute gain is.
I did it. I had the towel sitting on that chair I had laid out in the living room, and I was doing them, and on the TV I just like Googled David Goggins
Yeah.
motivational videos, and it was just
Yeah.
him yelling at you.
And just kept unwrapping them out.
It was his like a compilation thing of his Instagram stories of him
Yeah,
running
yeah.
and just like yelling about something, and then like that I like got in my own head of like, and then it was kind of weird. It was like the first time in a long time that like I could tell my muscles were dead, but they were almost numb.
Yeah, and you just kept pushing.
And it was almost like I wasn't even like, I could tell I'm dead, but they weren't like difficult. Like, you know when you get dead and like you can't even bench press the bar anymore.
Yeah.
You're so dead.
Yeah.
It was like I hit that, but then like I pushed through that and almost to where I was just like numb.
And kept on riding it
And
out.
I rode that for a little bit. And then all of a sudden I like died. It was like 30, I think it was 35 minutes I made it. Might have
That's
been
a
like
huge
it might have been
difference.
like 33 minutes.
Yeah, but that's 15 more rounds.
Yeah. It was hard.
That's a shit ton.
But I think that's like
Dude, those are underrated. If you're like, that's another thing too. The excuse of I don't have time or whatever. But
mhm.
you can go on YouTube and like Google a 15, 20-minute workout. Dude, those things are intense.
Yeah, it's all about how intense them high intensity.
And like hit workouts, high intensity interval training.
Mhm.
Hit workouts, for those of you that don't have time, those are probably one of the best things that you can do. Like, you burn a ton of calories. That gets your metabolism fired up for the day. Like, if you start doing that in the morning or whatever, probably do that in the morning because your heart rate's gonna spike,
Mhm.
and that's a great start to your day. Like, especially something if you're just getting into working out. Like, 20 minutes. It's quick. It's guided. get it done. There's tons of them. Just YouTube them.
Yeah, so that I don't have time. At work, I've been catching a lot of flack for flack. Is that the right word? Been catching. I don't know. I don't think that's the right word, but
Shit.
I've been catching a lot of shit at work
That's my go-to.
from guys.
For
about,
what?
Like, I'll walk in the morning. Oh, fucking Hulk Hogan's back, because they found out that I'm working out again. I'm working out with another dude from that I work with. So then it's like, oh, workout twins, this and that. And then I'm like, finally, like, the other day, I've been waking up and I'm pissed. I think I told you that.
Yeah.
I've been waking up almost every morning fucking irate. I don't know if it's my dreams. Like, I know I've been having really vivid dreams at night, but I've been waking up and I'm irate. And I don't like come down for a couple hours. Like, my walks,
Adrenaline just gets.
my
So
walk,
you're focused on that. Then,
my walks
too.
in the morning, every morning I'm pissed off about something else, and I've been getting home when I'm done and like writing it down to make myself feel better of why I'm mad about this.
Yeah.
So then like I'll get to work and then like right away this dude's like in on me. Oh, fucking Hulk Hogan. We're gonna have to start getting him bigger T-shirts and this and that. And then like he's a fatter guy.
Yeah, I was just
And
gonna
finally
say.
I started like I lost on him, and I'm like, why the fuck you think it's okay for you to like start giving me shit because I'm trying to like better myself or
Yeah.
like work on myself?
Good.
And then he's like, oh well, I do it too, but he's like, I'm too busy with real world problems or real world activities.
Real world activities.
And I'm like, what? Like what? I'm like, what? What is it? What are your real world activities that you don't have time? I'm like, you literally every weekend, if there's overtime, you're fucking working overtime 12 hours a day in the foundry or out in the field doing something like. And
Yes.
if we're on 10-hour days in the shop, you're the first one to sign up. And that's waking up. We start an hour earlier and we end an hour later. So you're telling me that you don't have time right now.
But at any time.
And we're on 8 hours.
Yeah.
You can't wake up an hour before, and you can't after work give yourself another hour.
Yeah.
Or
even 30 minutes
Yeah.
one day. Yeah.
so what do you got going on? I was fucking pissed, dude. That whole I don't have time with real world problems. And I literally like
The worst part is he's not even in like shape to,
yeah.
you know.
I'm like, why would, well, because he wasn't that day, he wasn't in on me, he was in on the other kid, and this kid's like 20 years old, like, first
New,
time in the
yeah.
gym, and he's been going to the gym for like 4 months maybe, but it's like the first time ever
Getting
working
shit
out.
by.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you give a guy shit
Dude,
about that? And I know, like, you're probably thinking it's a joke, but like,
it
to,
doesn't
like,
matter. Yeah,
it's not a joke, dude. Like,
yeah, that's like when you see those like bigger people at the gym and like like people laughing or whatever. It's like, where the hell's the logic
Yeah.
in that? You know, that person's here to literally better themselves. How much courage it probably took for them to put on gym clothes to come to the gym, and then they got people like pointing at them, laughing at them, like
Yeah.
shit like that.
But then I think it comes down to, like we were talking before we started this, I think it's literally them, that they're uncomfortable about themselves. Like, they know that they could be doing this too and they should be doing this too, but they don't want to look at themselves and be like, I'm fucking up, like I need to change this about me. So then they're going to try to make you feel bad about it.
There's
like,
always a
put you down about it.
rationalization. Yeah, that's their way to rationalize
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah, or like, I'm working on real world problems like that.
Like, what's your
that-
problems?
I think that's good though that you said something like that.
Well, like it was
especially
like I said, and I've been getting like, I wake up angry. I don't know.
I'm not a. So there's like some mornings where like things just bother me, but I know what you're talking about. Like the morning, like there's mornings where like if I like say I like nudge my shoulder on the corner when I'm like going up the steps and I
Yeah.
turn, like that will like infuriate me. Like I'll just be like, Like I literally have to like focus on my breath, like, and then I'm like, why am I on edge? Like I literally just
Yeah,
woke up.
that's like edgy. This is like,
You're just mad about something. Like you have a reason.
I don't know. Every
I don't know.
morning it's
I
been
don't know.
so like this week is it started like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then like Thursday, yesterday, and today I didn't wake up angry, but like otherwise I've been like it's always like
Ooh, you're an angry
at
owl.
somebody or at something that
Yeah.
happened or
Yeah.
like where I want to fucking throw hands with somebody. I'm so mad. Like I thought about like I got UFC gloves because when me and Brandon used to work
Yeah.
out, we'd hit the
You
bag.
should get a bag in your
I
garage.
was literally about like one day I was so mad I was gonna grab the gloves and just punch the basement wall because I was so fucking mad, and I don't know why.
I'm trying to think like, well, if you had a, if you knew for sure what it was, it's not good to like continue, like continue like stewing on it,
No,
letting it
every day
stew in
it's
your
something
mind.
different. I'm mad about something different.
So
Mad
so
about
you should give yourself like your walk, like say your walk, like say the first 20 minutes, like let yourself sit there, wonder what it is, to think about it, like walk yourself through all the situations, like, but then after like that 20-minute mark, you gotta like start focusing on that good, like good positive things, because otherwise that will run. If you focus on that too long, you actually build like like so you can build different neural pathways and stuff, like so like creating memories or whatever. So
yeah
like if you thought of something and you thought of that memory, the more you think about that, it's just like learning when you
mhm
learn, like you're thinking of like how to do 2 plus 2, like you run that through your head, like how the order of operations, like that type of thing. The more you do it, like repetition, it builds that neural pathway. So then you focusing on like what's pissing you off is just building that even deeper. Like you're just thinking of it and it's building it deeper into you, like so when you do think of it, it's that much easier and faster to get pissed off.
yeah.
So like,
But the weirdest part is that like I'm not an angry person. Like
yeah,
I'm
but that's what I'm
normally
saying.
like
I'm telling you, right? Like the more that you think of that and like let it stew in your mind,
yeah
the more easy it's gonna, like the easier it's gonna be for you to get pissed and be a pissed off person.
yeah
So like limit the time that like you ever see them quotes where it's like someone, there's 8,600 seconds or 86,000 seconds in a day. Like if someone pisses you off for 10 of them, why let them ruin like the whole
yeah
like, so like that is kind of like what I'm kind of picking at
yeah
there. The longer you sit there and like think about it, like the deeper them pathways are gonna
yeah
grow, stronger they're gonna grow, the faster it's gonna be for you to just like it'll become like a habit. Like when something happens, you can just turn to that switch so fast and you'll just be pissed.
yeah.
So like think about it for a little bit, analyze it, and then after that you have to just start focusing on like good things. I do this, like I struggle with it still, like I've been trying to do it for years because I can get I can get pissed off in a second, but I remember when I was probably early high school, middle school, dude, I was a hothead. Like you could piss me off so fast, and like it was like a deep rage that I could get into. Now, like you got to do a lot to get me to that point, but
Mhm.
it's just like one like growth too, like that's a big thing, like maturity and all that. But I think it's just focusing like different channels of the energy, like toward you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So don't focus on that too long, especially when you get to work too, like being in that mood, because you create your mood,
Yeah.
like you're the one that chooses if you're gonna stay pissed off all morning
Yeah.
or like become happy, and it is hard to like make that switch, but literally it's you are the only one, like no one else can just like come and be like, all right, time to be happy, Jay. Like you have to be like, oh, you're right, like
And the
I
weird
should
part
switch
is
this
too is
mood.
I'm like
A mood is a state, you know, like in a state, your state of being can be changed.
One thing I found out about myself is that I'm a high level overthinker about
Yeah.
everything. And I never used to, like, I think I've always been that way, but I used to not care
Yeah.
as much. So now, like, sometimes I get pissed off about situations that I create in my own head. They didn't even happen yet. I'll be mad about something, like, on my walks. So, like, I'll walk in the morning and I'll be all pissed off. And then I get home and like, I've been writing down what I'm pissed off about, and like kind of like journaling that.
Girl Scout cookies?
I don't know. I didn't order any.
No, I don't know.
So then like I'll take a picture of it, and then once I'm good, I'll reread it at work, like what I was pissed off about in the morning, and then I'm
does
like,
that fire you up again?
no,
Okay, that's good.
because then I'm like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, the underlying root of what I'm mad about happened, but the rest of it is all just made up shit that I thought of in my head. And I'm letting myself get pissed off about shit that I made up. I'm like,
Dude.
what a fucking psychopath.
No,
here
but
I am.
everybody-
Here I am walking down the fucking street at 4 in the morning, just fucking irate about shit that I made up in my own head.
Dude, that's super
What
common.
the fuck,
though. Like,
dude?
people are probably like, oh, dude, I did the same. Like, people do that though.
Like hands clenched down the fucking street, just mean mugging trees and shit. I'm so mad. And it didn't even happen. I made
staring
it all
dogs
up.
down. Like, yeah, you bite me, I'm bite you.
Like I told you, I almost punted that dog because I was all pissed off to begin with, and I got this little ankle biter trying to bite me.
I don't know. It is like a common thing though. Like, a lot of the problems that people create or believe are gonna happen are just in their own head. Like,
Yeah.
they create the problems in their head, which will then could lead to more like, okay, like jealousy. Like, so jealousy in a relationship, especially like an intimate relationship, will really do nothing besides like break the relationship up, right? Because what happens when like jealousy is like, you're just assuming that this person's gonna, like, you're creating those thoughts in your head, you know.
Yeah,
like,
then you're not trusting them.
yeah, so then trust breaks down, right? So it's like a little chain of events that
Mhm.
happens. Like jealousy really comes from like maybe lack of trust or like your own insecurities of like what that person
Then you're putting it on them.
Yeah, so now you're like, oh, like, what if they're out doing this? What
It's-
if she's doing that? And it's like you're like brewing all these thoughts in your head of
Yeah,
what
so
this
then,
person could be doing.
Yeah, so then like you're mad about like
That's not even happening. And then you could get in arguments and fights about it.
because then
Or you're on edge about something when she comes back and you're like, well, you know, you're not in that
Yeah.
like good state.
and
Now
it
you're-
really probably comes down to like you're not okay that if that actually was happening,
yeah.
you're not okay with like being by yourself again.
Yeah.
Like you're not comfortable with yourself. Like you can go find somebody else.
Yeah,
like,
to go start over.
instead of
Dude,
being
starting
like,
over.
if that is happening, fuck it. Like
Yep.
fuck
Oh, dude.
you. That's
I-
not for me then.
I feel bad in a way, but so there's this guy at work. He's in his early 40s, and he was just like kind of venting to me, you know, like, and like we're
Mhm.
just talking like how you and I talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, you got like a good mindset on things or whatever, and we're talking again. Like we were working for a couple weeks together, and I started talking about. Well, he started asking me about like my relationship with Anna and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it's like 8 years or whatever, and going. He's like, really? Like, I've been with my wife for 20, and then we just started talking about like some more stuff the next day, and then back to like, he's like, you guys never had any like issues? Like I'm like, yeah, we have our issues. Like every relationship has their issues or whatever. He's like, no one like cheated, anything like that. I'm like, no, and I was like, if that happened, I'd kill the person that did it, and then I would kill her too. Like, not that I'm gonna kill her, but,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, and I would get the fuck out and move on and start over. Like I'm like, like you said, like having like a confidence level that you could do that. Like you won't, like you don't want to do that,
Yeah.
but like if you had to do it, worst comes to worst. Like literally like 2 days later, he's just like, yeah, man, I was well, and so we. I guess I should add some more context to this whole situation. We talked about like career choices and like like pushing yourself to do new shit, learn stuff, like all that, and like I'm like I'm not in this as a career. Like I'm not gonna do this my whole life. And he's just like, yeah, like I don't feel that way either. I'm like, honestly, like one of the reasons I'm here is like it's honest work, it's good pay. Like I like that. A lot of people don't do it. You have to have the drive to do that every day. And he's like, I think that's the only reason I'm here. It's like, it's just honest work. And then like his dad used to do run a business and he didn't want to do that, and he's like started telling me about the stuff that he wanted to do or whatever. Well, literally a couple days later, he's like, this is why I feel bad. He's like, I think I'm getting a divorce. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I was just thinking about all the stuff we've been talking about the last couple days, and he's like happiness and like
Yeah.
long term and all that, and he's just like, I don't like we're just on two different pages, and like we've tried different things and like all that, and he's like, I like you only have one life, and he's like, I don't think that she has like the same vision of life that he does and all that. And I'm like, I like then I'm like, shit, I'm like, did I like say something where this guy thinks like, oh, up and just leave, start over, like, because you don't want to put the work into like work on the
Yeah.
relationship and all that. So then I walked through all that shit with him, like trying to like reflect on like what I learned in school and all that to like try to like
Mhm.
and like just I don't know. So I tried to find like a deeper meaning to like why he would just leave, like if he actually had like reasoning behind it, like actual long term thoughts about all of it, and then like I think he might, but
Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of people like are
just one word, comfort is my word, but then that's a reminder, so keep going.
comfort.
Yeah, you got your thought still? Because I'm gonna go otherwise.
Yeah, you can go for a second.
I think the reason a lot of people, well, one, when you start like relationships or whatever, if you have a kid and stuff, I think people feel obligated, like they stay in it and are
Mhm.
like yeah, you had a kid with them, like you probably should be a little bit of obligation, right? But sometimes it is best even for that kid if you guys did go apart, you still obviously supported the kid, the family, like that's a whole different story from
Mhm.
where I'm going, but anyways, I think that a lot of people put themselves in relationships and then they get comfortable with it. And then when problems do happen or like their way of life is a little different or they want to leave or like they have questions of leaving, they won't because of they know that there's like there's comfort in knowing that that you have that relationship,
Yeah.
like even though it's destructive in multiple, it could be destructive in tons of different ways, but you're just comfortable because you're there now and you don't have to start over and try to learn you learn all new things about somebody else and like build that bond again with somebody else.
Yeah.
Because I've seen like friends and friends of friends or whatever that they keep coming back to each other, yet you know that it's like they're destructive when they're together, like it's not healthy, like,
Mhm.
but yet they just have that comfort of coming back to each other instead of going out and trying to, because they know it's hard, like it is hard to like get that bond with somebody and like to have that trust and build trust, like it takes a long time to do that. And I think in the long term, when people just go to that comfort of that old partner, it could really shoot him in the foot like later down. Like this dude's been married for 20 years, but I think maybe he just went back to her because it was like that comfort thing, especially in small towns, dude. You think there's nobody else out there in the
Yeah.
world because you're just in that small town. But I I don't know. I think we'll see. We'll see in the next however many years here. Like kind of what I'm talking about. I think it'll be more. The older we get, the more prevalent it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Cause
Yeah,
you
that
get.
kind of like builds into like what I was gonna say
Go ahead.
of like
Sorry, I interrupted you
no
before.
no that because that like literally is like the foundation of like what I wanted to say. But so like I think when you obviously like you're gonna have connection, like he probably does have a good connection with her, but I think deep down from day one he knew like it wasn't like some people like people say like when you know that's the right person, you know that's the right
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's obviously probably strong connections, but he never had that like I would like I'd do anything for this person like that.
Like
And
the
so that
thought of it and the
yeah
actual emotional feeling of it is completely different.
yeah because like a lot of people say like and this has never happened to me yet, but like when you know instantly like that this is it like every like
Mm-hmm.
even their flaws are like perfect like
Yeah.
but like so then like you have that connection with them. Well then if you start to like when you like break off from that connection, even though you know like I love all these things about this person, but I don't think it's the one. Like you know deep down like I don't think that's the one. But then like you keep going back to that familiarity and that comfortability with them, even though you know that
Do you
because you're scared of that like heartbreak of like
do you
breaking away from them.
do you think it's because like when you see them go, you're seeing part of yourself like
Yeah,
leave because like you put that time, like that effort, and like
that
that
and like
relationship, that bond, and like it's like almost like you're like losing part of yourself because like when
well,
you're
yeah,
when you have so much time with somebody,
yeah,
it becomes part of your habits, your daily like rituals. Like it's literally like part of your it's like part of your life leaving. So you're losing different emotions. Like you're literally losing like different physical activities that you're doing. Like I don't know, just
yeah. So
simple
like
things
you're
like
leaving
that.
that, but then like once they're gone and you have that heartbreak, now it's just you.
Yep.
Now you everything is you're looking at yourself. You all your decisions are based on you. You don't have anybody else to bounce ideas off of, and that I think that scares a lot of people. I mean,
Stressful.
it's hard, dude. It's hard being by yourself all the time. It's hard. And I
Yeah,
think
dude.
like and then on top of that, you're like heartbroken that you got to
Yeah.
let this person go. Like
Yeah.
you're going from literally you have somebody to not like dump all of your shit that happened on the day, but you have somebody to like
Dude,
talk.
communication.
Yeah, you can like talk through that. Now you have nobody. Now
Yeah.
you have to get through it. But like I think that scares most people, even though at the end like it's gonna make you a stronger person.
Yeah.
But I think most people go back to that familiarity and that comfortability with that person, even though
Fear.
deep down they know that's
Yeah.
not the right one for me.
They're
There's thing,
fearful of that time
yeah,
period where they won't have it.
and
And
they could
then
be like, there could be nothing wrong with that person, but if the like, because there's a lot of people that say like, how did you know that she was the right one? I don't know, and like
yeah.
it was like within the first 10 seconds of meeting her, I just fucking knew.
Yeah.
That's the one for me.
Yeah.
And I think that like when people like you get caught up like with somebody like yeah they're really good there's nothing wrong with them, but I know deep down that that's not the one for me. So
Yeah.
now you the more attached you get, the scarier it
And
is
harder it gets.
to like you're breaking your own heart and you're
Dude, and the longer it is, the more, like I said before, like you're losing that part of you.
yeah
Like the longer it is, the harder that's going to be because you formed that much that like,
yeah.
relationships with them, with people close to them. Like, dude,
So I
like,
think
oh
that's kind of
yeah,
like what he I think he from day one like
he just,
he loves that person, but
yeah,
maybe he's not like 100% like
yeah,
was never like knew like this is the one for me,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yep.
so then now he's like realizing it. It took him 20 years to realize it.
Dude, and I was telling him, I'm like you just said, like to realize that, I said sometimes people just have to have that conversation. And it might have took him 20 years to have that conversation where he actually like laid things out and kind of analyzed what was in front of him. I think a lot of people don't take that step back and fully evaluate like where they are, where they want to be, or like what type of relationship that they want. They just want a they want a quick like
Yeah.
like delayed like that delayed satisfaction. Like
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the same way like in the relationship.
Yeah. It's hard for me to talk about it. I mean,
We gotta go to
because I don't.
Menards soon.
Yeah, we do.
What? No, it is good though because we're both on different spectrums. Like we're both in
Yeah.
different situations in our lives right now.
Yeah,
You
because
know?
I mean, you've been in an 8-year
Yeah.
relationship. I've never been in a like
Literally,
super long-term relationship.
it's gonna be it's cool. It's gonna be wild though. Like we started so young, and we have such a long time to go, and so many different events that are going to occur. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. My biggest fear is I get worried that like something's gonna happen where one of us is already gonna like lose each other at like such a young age. But like, imagine how much harder it's gonna be if it happens when we're 40,
Mm.
like in kids or something, dude. Like losing like the significant other like due to like a tragedy or something. That's what
Yeah.
scares the shit out of me. But it's like you can't sit there and like worry about those things. Like you just have to be grateful for the time that you do
Yeah.
have together. Which they're like, that's one thing I would suggest to like to people is like simple things like when you're doing something together is just to like I'm usually like she gets mad at me because I'm like quiet a lot of times. But like a lot of times I'm literally just like taking like I'm happy, I'm like content, like
Yeah.
I'm just taking it in, like because you never know like you never know.
I've been trying to. You ever see Hall Pass?
Yeah. Yep.
And the joke is like taking mental pictures of like,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
of like the
Dude,
chick's
that's the
ass
thing though.
and shit.
I
But like
do.
I've been trying to like take in moments,
Yeah.
not
Good.
on my like not like physical like camera pictures,
Yep.
but like trying to really ingrain like moments in my
Yeah.
brain of like
Yeah. That's what I was talking about before, like forming that pathway. The more focus that you put into it, and like you like, so like me looking at that microphone, like the more like detail like and focus that I put into it, like looking at like where where the
Yeah.
name is, like how the chord comes out, how the stand is, like that's the same thing you do in a memory.
hmm
You just focus on like what's going on, like so like us like doing this or like sitting around a campfire and like where people are seated and just like the temperature, like the air, like all like is it like humid out, like all those little details that you're focusing on like will help ingrain that memory. And one of the biggest things that you should focus on is smell. If you can like smell certain things, that's one of the strongest like neural connectors like to a memory.
You know what's weird that you say that? There's times, dude, that I'll be like here, and like you don't smell your own house. You get used to
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
There'll be times that like all of a sudden I'll remember a smell but can't remember what it's from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like like you can see Play-Doh and you can smell it in your
Yep.
brain. You
Yeah.
know what it
I
smells
could do
like.
it right now. I
Yeah.
can smell it as
And
like
Play-Doh's like always like that's so
Distinctive,
distinctive that
yeah.
everybody knows. You see Play-Doh and you can picture what it smells like.
yeah.
There's things that like I can picture the smell, but I don't remember what the smell is from.
Mm-hmm.
Is that weird?
And I get what you're saying. It's super ass backwards, but I get
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. Yeah. So like think of that next time, like the campfire smell. Like
Mhm.
it's like oh, you're like, oh, dude, I can't wait for summer nights, like, because you just always have that good vibe feeling, like when the campfire, or you're just sitting out camping, like, or like a pool, like Bleach, like you're like, oh, dude, the pool, or like the lake, like things like that. Think of like in the morning sometimes when I'm drinking my coffee, like literally for like just 30 seconds, I'll just like smell it. Like, I'll close my eyes, just smell it, and like visualize like something good, and then
Hmm.
just like sip it. Like I got a book for you. It's it's habits, something forming. I haven't read it in probably a couple of years, but I usually try to read it every 3 years. I read it again. I'll have to give that to you. It talks about this too, like the smell and all that. I think it does at least. Um, but anyways, another example was for like your wedding day. You're supposed to use like a cologne or a perfume that neither one of you like ever uses, and like that's what you get it for each other or something, and then that's what you should wear throughout like for the day
So it's a distinctive.
because it's distinctive. And then if you want to recall, like you can recall your wedding night, but like to recall it even better, like
Have that
you
distinctive
just
smell to
smell
it. Yeah,
that
that makes sense.
and you could focus back on all that. Like you don't do it all the time where like because then like if fade away or whatever.
I have that with music, dude.
When you hear a song, you can relate to. Yeah,
Because like for me,
that just tells you where your focus was at
yeah.
at the time.
So like I always go like I don't know, it's weird that like a song will bring you back exactly to that moment
Yeah.
in time of like when you were so into that song and everything that was going on or that album or that band or whatever. Yeah, that's wild that like a smell can actually do that too.
I That's like another like cool like with music or whatever with the memory. Dude, I can remember my dad having his Dodge Stratus and he always had his little the air fresheners or whatever in there. Like I can literally picture that like are you talking about picturing the smell and not
Mhm.
knowing where it's I can smell that, picture the whole thing, and I can remember like how he has his seat all the time, like and then playing freaking like Led Zeppelin and shit.
Mhm.
So I like when he was in the hospital or whatever, like when we thought he was gonna like lose his legs and shit. I went to like that church that night or no that morning before work, and dude, I just blared like Led Zeppelin, just thinking of like driving like when him picking us up from like football practice or something,
Yeah.
just cause like that's his shit, and like it was just like it just drove like the memory that much more, like I put myself like where like
Yeah.
it was cool. Well, we could probably wrap it up. We gotta get some shopping done, go to the gym, go work on the house, put some light fixtures in. Anyways, once again, thanks for listening to whoever's out there. Share this with a friend, hey, if you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then check out the other podcasts that we were talking about, like the MFCO project. Real as fuck is Andy's page or whatever, and then HWMF. I think both are offer pretty good content. There's some inspirational stuff in there, and some entertaining stuff. Um, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcast, and YouTube. YouTube, I think all the videos are up to date. The last one I struggled. It would not process. It would get to 99% and just sit there. So that one's up. Pretty soon, the house will be done. We'll have the little studio set up, and then we'll have to get the cameras and stuff rolling. Which,
Yeah. It's hard in here because it's like
yeah, and your angles and stuff.
yeah.
It we'll
We've
figure it out.
we've tried it a couple times. It just
It's
doesn't work in here good.
yeah, we kind of want to offer some decent. Seeing the video will be fun too, like especially
Yeah.
when the room and all that's ready to go, and
The big thing
you can
for
see
me
our
was
reactions to stuff.
it's like yeah we could have video, but what's the point of putting a video out if it's shit quality? Like it doesn't look
I think
good.
it'll
It's
probably
not good angles. It's
it would
not.
probably get people to less likely
Yeah.
watch. Yeah,
So
especially on YouTube. All right. Well,
Follow us on Instagram.
yep. Don't want to hear. And if you
Tell your
guys have any content ideas, Kyle, I know you're out there listening to this one. Hunter, shoot us some DMs on Instagram or text us or whatever. We'll go over them. What I don't know, whatever you guys want to talk about.
You got something you guys want to talk
Or if
about,
you
or
and
if
a
you want to be
you
on it.
yeah you and a friend want to come on, frick yeah, we'll plan that out. It's getting kind of nice out. Maybe we could have a stogie outside and
Mhm.
do another one outside. Anyways, guys, hope you have a good weekend, and we'll catch you on the next one.